Good evening and welcome to Primetime News on Mitv. I am Victor Daniels. In the news, President Bola Tinubu has reiterated his administration's commitment to improving Nigerians' electricity supply through the Presidential Power Initiative (PPI), a partnership with Siemens Energy. Speaking on Monday during a meeting with the Siemens Energy delegation led by Detmar Setstofa, Managing Director for the Middle East and Africa at the State House in Abuja, Tinubu said that reliable power remains central to Nigeria's economic growth and the well-being of its citizens. The Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelebu, however, reported that key achievements under the PPI, including the upgrades that have added 984 megavolt amperes of transmission capacity nationwide. Adelebu said the Federal Executive Council had approved the next stage of the project, which involves upgrading 5 substations in the Belkota, Ofa, Ayeden, Ibadan, Sokoto and Onitsha, with 2 expected to be completed by 2026. The minister noted that the reforms such as the Electricity Act 2023 and the National Integrated Electricity Policy have attracted over $2.2 billion in new investment and enabled 15 state electricity markets.
There's no industrial growth or economic development. At least I believe power is the most important humanity in the last 1,000 years. I appreciate the partnership on the PPI. The progress to date is notable and we can feel it, but not yet where we want it to be. We appreciate the support, the commitment of both the German company and the, your company. The investment that we are making and the commitment that you are making.
Of course, energy is critical to industrialization, is critical to growth, creation of job agenda. So just as has been reiterated, this is an important project that increases the capacity of the Nigerian grid and I would just like to thank Siemens and the government of Germany for their partnership and commend the Honorable Minister for Power for what is so far a project that has been well planned and is being implemented efficiently. It is critical to investment, investor confidence, and ease of doing business, and therefore it is a critical element in your reform, stabilization, and growth.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Joseph Tuga has reiterated Nigeria's commitment of implementing the far-reaching reforms amidst economic challenges. He disclosed these in Abuja at the books on the reform trajectory under the administration of President Bola Tinubu. Tuga, who was represented by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Dunuma Ahmed, said the government is taking proactive actions to stabilize the macroeconomic environment, expand the social investments, and improve the national security as a top priority area of focus. Correspondent Linda Ike reports that the Foreign Affairs Ministry says Nigeria remains a global example of a country with religious popularity and democratic endurance, describing the nation as institutions operating without religious bias.
While Nigeria continues to deal with multifaceted security challenges, its democratic resilience, interfaith harmony, and socio-economic recovery. Under this administration, the government is taking decisive actions to stabilize the macroeconomic environment, expand social investments, and improve national security. The government remains focused on national prosperity and economic resilience, continuing to implement far-reaching and beneficial reforms that are beginning to yield the desired results. Successful and beneficial economic reforms. The administration of President far-reaching and structurally transformative reforms aimed at restoring macroeconomic stability, driving inclusive growth.
And in a related development, the Supreme Council of Islamic Affairs, NSCIA, has dismissed allegations of Christians genocide in Nigeria, calling them false, dangerous, and politically motivated. Speaking at a press conference in Abuja, the Secretary General of the Council, Professor Ishaq Oloyede, said the widespread insecurity in parts of the country is not religious, and the Northeast is largely linked to banditry and resource conflict and not interfaith hatred. Citing the 2022 U.S. Religious Freedom Report, Oyedele noted that the banditry and criminality, not religious animosity, remain the main causes of community to divide Nigerians. He also cited the U.S. decision to release Nigeria as a country of particular concern and urging the global partners to provide intelligence and capacity building support instead of political pressure. He emphasized that both Muslims and Christians are victims of insecurity and called for unity, responsible reporting, and stronger governance. Oloyede therefore reaffirmed the NSCIA's commitment to religious tolerance and peaceful coexistence.
We reaffirm that there is no Christian genocide in Nigeria. Under Article on the promotion and punishment of the crime of genocide and Article 6 of the Rome Statute, the crime is defined by a critical mental element known as dolus specialis. This is the specific intent to destroy the whole or parts, to destroy in whole or in part a national, ethnical, racial, or religious group. There is nothing of such in.
And meanwhile, a coalition of civil society organizations under the aegis of the Coalition for the Defense of Nigerian Sovereignty has urged the United States Congress to desist from actions or statements that threaten Nigerian sovereignty, including the alleged plan to invade the country or designate it as a country of particular concern. The groups, during a protest march to Lagos State House of Assembly in Alausa, in Ikeja, denounced any form of foreign interference or military threat, describing such moves as dangerous to Nigerian stability and global peace. And according to the coalition, the recent claims that Nigerian persecutes Nigerians are misleading and do not reflect the country's realities, stating that Nigerians' insecurity challenges are ranging from terrorism, banditry to communal conflicts, affect citizens across all faiths, and adding that extremist groups such as Boko Haram and ISWAP have targeted both Muslims and Christians, particularly in northern communities. The coalition maintained that depositing Nigerian as a state-driven violators of religious freedom distorts facts, noting that the nation's crisis of challenges rather than religious persecutions. Accordance for President Donald Trump's alleged remarks suggesting the military's intervention in Nigeria to protect Christians, are describing the statement as reckless and unlawful, emphasizing that such threats contravene the principles of the United Nations Charter and the African Union Constitutive Act, both of which safeguard the sovereignty and territorial integrity of member states.
Nigeria has made tremendous progress in stabilizing its currency, rebuilding its foreign products. Threat of sanctions or military intervention send the wrong signal to international markets and hinder the effort of millions of nations to divine U.S.-Nigerian relations. We value our partnership with the United States and remain open to dialogue rooted in truth, respect, and equality. A military invasion is not us. We don't need to further militarize our society. We all have heard that there is growing technological means of addressing insecurity problem. If America has, they are facing the greatest level and record of homelessness. There is no point deceiving ourselves. We all globally are in a mess. No nation is the headquarter of advancement. It's collaboration that can take us out of the poverty, the dilemma of peace that can take us out of the poverty, the dilemma of insecurity we find ourselves. It's a crystal clear that if the war, this threat should be utilized to make our refineries to work. This threat should be utilized to make sure that our security system is working.
You have been lending your voice to issues that concerns national issues. So we appreciate what you have written. I will submit it to the leadership of the House. And we have taken note of all what you have said. You understand? In the state and in the House of Assembly, we are doing our best to improve and develop Lagos State. And you are aware that Lagos already is a mega city. And we are still working towards peaceful coexistence in our state and develop the state so that it will be livable for every one of us.
The National Assembly has reaffirmed confidence in the federal government's target of achieving a $1 trillion economy, emphasizing that the goal is attainable if the president expedites assent to National Digital Economy and E-Governance Bill 2025. The Chairman Senate Committee on ICT and Cybersecurity, Senator Shuaib Folabi Salisu, made this known in Lagos during a one-day retreat on the bill organized by the Senate and House of Representatives, a joint committee on ICT, cybersecurity, and digital information technology. He noted once enacted, the legislation would strengthen the legal certainty, enhance the public reliability of electronic transactions, communications, and records. Other speakers at the retreat highlighted the bill would further promote and facilitate effective use of information and communication technology across public institutions, and thereby accelerating digital information and governance efficiency in Nigeria.
This bill, when passed into law, it will mandate government agencies to digitize, It will provide regulatory environment for artificial intelligence. It will provide regulatory environment for artificial intelligence. It will provide regulatory clarity for electronic transactions, all those fintech that are emerging from the countries, telemedicine, teleagriculture, and we are very, very delighted that our colleagues, both from the Senate, the National Assembly, are here. We are grateful to the Ministry of Finance for facilitating this retreat. This is the only bill to be sure that the people are aware of the problem of this bill.
In a budget, if you just do a quick search for IT projects, you have billions, 600, 700, 800 billion of projects, and in 100 billion of projects. And in a way, you don't have a technology roadmap that is guiding that. So everybody's just doing whatever pleases them. You don't have a technology roadmap that is guiding that. So everybody's just doing whatever pleases them. But again, with this technology that makes sense, that basically can allow us, and Mr. President is a digital man, regardless of our party affiliate, he's a digital man. He understands the power of technology, and I give that to him. So with this that we are doing, I look forward to him signing this so that way we can transform our economy.
And for the agenda that the president is set, that we must grow our economy to a $1 trillion economy, that will not be accomplished without technology and without the leadership of the people that you're seeing here today, which is why I believe that we should all appreciate the committees for leading this singular bill. This is the first time any African country will have a single piece of legislation to guide the digital economy. We've been saying it's the future, but it's already with us. Without digital, there's nothing we can do. So now imagine that we don't have proper regulations and laws to actually guide how we do things. That's what Nigerians should expect, that the opportunities that this bill will create, that the people that are behind it, they're protecting the future of our nation and generations to come. And this bill will open up our economy for shared prosperity. That's what Nigerians should expect.
So the bill, what it will do is create incentives for the private sector to be able to fund the creation of technology companies in Nigeria. So as even we as government invest in university creation, research and development, science and technology, this is how we believe we will localize technology. The most important thing is that we localize all of these solutions so that when this bill passes, not all the foreign companies will come and harvest our value. No, the value must stay in Nigeria.
The Minister of Works, David Umahi, has called for a greater discipline, transparency and innovation among engineers to drive Nigeria. Umahi praised Governor Biodun Oyebanji for what he called remarkable strides in infrastructure. Oyebanji reaffirmed his administration's commitment to road rehabilitation and thanked President Bola Tinubu for supporting the major roads across Ekiti. The event themed discipline, transparency and innovation in engineering practice brought together stakeholders to chart a new path of Nigeria's infrastructure sector.
Before us is clear. We must be telling words, but in action. Let's also leave this 30th Council with renewed determination to promote accountability in project delivery, empower our engineers with tools and training, monitor and evaluate projects rigorously, and most importantly, serve the Nigerian people with discipline, professionalism, integrity, excellence.
We will also continue to collaborate with Aramoko, Ijero, Ido-Ifaki roads and other federal roads across Ekiti State. To the civil engineers present here today, the boundaries of what is possible. Your work has the power to transform lives and societies, and we are counting on your expertise and creativity to help build a bright.
Experts in university administration have called for the prioritization of locally relevant training programs tailored to specific disciplines rather than engaging in foreign training with little or no value to job performance. They stated these at the annual conference of the registry at correspondent Abiola Ismail has the details in this report.
Is now and topic excellence in university administration, the imperatives of professionalism and digital literacy was discussed. A former Deputy Vice Chancellor, Management Services, University of Lagos, obeying it as a critical component of effective management in any institution.
I urge all of you to embrace the available opportunities for professionalism, digital literacy, continuous learning, and teamwork. Madam Vice Chancellor had already alluded to this in her speech. Do embrace that, and whenever you do any of this, you also train yourself. Professionalism is something that will also help and guide you at the time you're leaving this institution.
Also speaking, a former registrar, Lagos State University, Akin Lewis noted that many external training programs often lack relevance to participants' job roles and resulting in wastage. He stressed the need to redirect attention towards practical and impactful local capacity building initiative. Mr. Lewis said most overseas training programs consume huge funds without yielding commensurate benefits back home.
Okay, loss of historical memory. I also talked about disrespect coming from some members of our family, those who ordinarily should know that regardless of your age, regardless of your position. There are some in front of you, and you must respect them regardless. Then we also talked about lack of training or improper training. More often than not, some of us do attend training programs outside, but they are not fit for purpose what we do. Such, you're wasting money. And that is why I advocated that the training and the retraining should be localized. Everything we want to do is should be on the job training in-house, as it were, so that everybody knows what the problems are and how to go about tackling it.
Vice Chancellor, University of Lagos, Professor Folashade Okunshola, underscored the value of mutual respect in university administration, saying it fosters positive relationship and productive within the system.
For excellence is the quality of being outstanding or extremely good in performance, behavior, or results. Doing your best to the highest possible standards. Never settling for less. If it can be done better, that is what we choose. And why is this important? If we're future ready, the future is now. The world is not waiting for us. The world we're in now is a world that is rapidly changing, and the technological disruptions are high. Any institution that does not change gets left behind.
The Registrar, University of Lagos, Abosede, weekly reiterated the need for professionalism and deepened commitment among university administrators to enhance overall institutional efficiencies.
To strive for excellence in all that we do and take back the dignity of the profession of a university administrator. For a long time, the dignity has been whittled down, but to bring registry into the forefront, to let people know that we are professionals in our field. Administration is not just any layman's work. It is a professional field that requires excellence. And the present crop of registry staff in University of Lagos are striving towards excellence.
Abiola Ismail, MITV News.
The Lagos State government has unveiled an ambitious plan to invest in infrastructure development project for the 2026 fiscal year in a renewed push to advance environmental sustainability and climate adaptation across the state. They're developing a full separate development that follows the signing of four separate memorandum of understanding between the Lagos State and the private sector partners, focusing on climate change mitigation and waste to wealth initiatives. Speaking on the financing strategy, Dr. Daniel Folayinka, Chief Resilience Officer of the State Resilience Office, made a disclosure during her presentation at the second day of the 11th Lagos International Climate Change Summit. Themed the Blue Economy, Green Money, Financing Africa's Coastal Resilience and Ocean Innovation. The summit featured its first plenary session. Dr. Folayinka explained that the targeted funding source through both government and private sector financing will be deployed across key sectors of the state's economy to support resilience and infrastructure development. And with a population of exceeding 22 million and 187 kilometer coastline, Lagos remain one of the most climate vulnerable megacities in the world, but the state government has continued to model proactive urban and environmental management.
A lot of our transportation when it comes to land is informal and composed of roughly 80-90% of our transport system. So there must be a strategic initiative that would systematically take away those buses away from the road. So within our agency, it's Lamata, we have a program called the BITP, which is Bus Industry Transit Program. In that program, what it does is it systematically takes away those buses and then we scrap them and provide them with cleaner energy buses.
And how do you ensure that people are able to access housing, especially in this climate impacted world that we are living in? done has been multifaceted, because when we look at affordability, it's different for everyone. So what the low-income person classifies as affordability is different from what the high-income groups classify as affordability. And Lagos has begun to work across the various spectrum. So we have the outright sales of houses that people can buy. We have the rent to own. Like if you cannot afford to buy at once, you are able to rent and maybe you own later. But beginning to partner with developers to be able to build low-income housing.
That always comes to my mind is from a World Bank study from a few years ago that identity related to emissions from the transport sector. That's just, it sounds like a random number, $2 billion. But that, along with that $2 billion is about 11,000 premature deaths annually. And that's tragic. And this is why Lagos State government is at the forefront of this energy transition.
Something that requires full partnership across MDAs. Of that, when we are building a resilient city, everybody, just like the Permanent Secretary had mentioned, a lot of things we do have very back to you when you are doing it. But if you look at it holistically, a 1 millimeter rise in sea level every year, in the next 10, you could tell some cities could be subsumed underwater.
Water is a public good without a doubt. That is where concessional financing, blended financing comes in which you're able to access grants. But however, it must show sustainability, even if it's patient capital that is required. The states must also work in stop. I was in one of the NCAP meetings when we were talking about sovereign guarantees, and the state officials were very much against that, to say, the states are not going to guarantee. I think if we are really serious about real mobilizing capital, the state has to provide some kind of guarantees.
How can we turn this huge challenge into very massive opportunity? I operate in the renewable energy space with focus on what we call decentralized renewable energy. Another study done also by the World Bank through Boston Consulting Group shows that if we put panels on the rooftops in Lagos alone, we can generate 12,500 megawatts of power. I should think that should be higher than what the grid is supplying us. So that's a huge opportunity.
And meanwhile, the government has demonstrated its irrevocable commitment to advance waste conversion by signing 3 separate Memorandum of Understanding with various reputable companies at the 11th Lagos International Climate Change Summit. Addressing the investors and delegates, the Commissioner of the Environment and Water Resources, Tokunbo Wahab, has stated that the state government is determined to move from linear waste management, pick and dump, to conversion of waste, which is more sustainable. He said the new MOUs represent a new vista in the quest of the state to reduce the quantum of waste that finally gets to the various landfill sites. Wahab explained that a proposition from one of the companies, HAK Waste Limited, is to establish a circular beverage container bottle recycling and recovering through a deposit refund system hinged on extended collection and recycling of end-of-life tires in the state. The third of the MOU, according to the Commissioner, is from Mundo for Africa, proposing to convert a non-recyclable plastic waste into sustainable fuel and other. The Managing Director of Loma, Dr. Muiwa Bade Geshin, said the new initiative is part of organization's quest to improve the state of the environment in the state.
The practice that has been done for decades, that's a linear waste system where you pick and dump, to a more sustainable eco-friendly system. You pick and dump to a more sustainable eco-friendly system where the quantum of waste that ends on the landfill will be very, very, very minimal. And that's what we're doing. Now, we've also tried to address the issue of the PSP operators. We can't run away from that big elephant in the room. They are challenged. In the past few weeks, we've had high-level meetings with them. The governor had met with them. And then where there are key issues that have to do with fleet renewal.
Trucks are culpable of operating unauthorized garages and parks that have been LASMA. Adebayo Taufik said the comprehensive operation, supervised by the Special Advisor to the Governor on Transportation, Sholagiwa, strategically targeted unlawful garages, makeshift shanties, and informal trading clusters that have over time degenerated into epicenters of gridlock, environmental degradation, and exercise, aligned with the newly enforced 24-hour traffic management and control mandate of LASMA, and represents a vital component of the Lagos State government's wider policy framework to enhance mobility, promote compliance, and ensure total traffic sanity before, during, and after the impending festive season. He reaffirmed the unwavering resolve of the administration of Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, the Governor of Lagos State, to uphold discipline, law and order across all transportation corridors through the strict enforcement of traffic regulations and uncompromising zero-tolerance stance against all infractions. The Daramola family of Borobelo Nigbed village in Lekki has refuted allegations of LEM in recent publications, describing the accusations as false, defamatory, concealing the accusers' alleged misconduct in land dealings. Speaking at a press conference in Lagos, the family head, Ismail Olayiwola Daramola, clarified that the family sold only about 5 acres of land through a customary transfer arrangement, explaining that the buyer rightfully took the possession. And according to the family, efforts to address the dispute amicably through meetings and letters to the Lagos State Land Bureau, the Attorney General, and the Registrar of Titles have been ignored. They also called on the Lagos State government to investigate what they describe as fraudulent surveying practices and attempt to register illegal land coordinates. The family emphasized the legitimately sold land remains untouched and securely fenced, while reaffirming their commitment to transparency and lawful conduct in all transactions.
At no point in time did the family deny the legitimate sale of land to Atco Home. Is alleged Atco offered the land it rightful purchased. Atco Homes has taken possessions and even fenced the land. However, the company is subsequently attempt to enlarge its claim beyond the portions purchased in an act of trespass and fraud.
We have bought that land from our family since 5 years. First is they are doing nothing, and they want us to do security for the land. Like you see, when the Lagos State government is doing that, we don't enter the land, we don't enter anything. So we come and accuse our family in the wrong way.
Presiding Archbishop of the Rema Christian Church and Towers, Archbishop Dr. Taiwo Akinola, has called on Nigerian leaders to embrace justice and grapples with economic hardship, insecurity, and moral decline. Speaking in Ogun State during the church's 34th Rema World Convention themed The Good of All Possibilities, Bishop Akinola addressed the country's socio-economic challenges and urged government officials to lead with integrity and empathy. He advocated comprehensive security reforms, community policing, and improved welfare for security operatives, stressing that Nigerians' destiny can still be restored through repentance, moral uprightness, and scored for success. The president of the Glorious Men's Fellowship International Christ.
The theme, the God of all possibilities. What do we take home? Our God can do anything. Nationally, in our communities, in our families, in our individual homes. He can do anything. If we can only trust in him, a better tomorrow will come, because he's sovereign in might, sovereign in wisdom. Government, why do we shout and shout on government? Is because they called for us to elect them. But everybody must play through the rule of the game. Godliness is it. And so my word for the entirety of the Nigerian society is that let's be closer to God.
It's the empowerment. They should go forth. Situations of the world may arise. They should keep faith, believing God that if he has whatever he has said, he will do it. And of course, all that we have to do as humans, we should do it. We should keep, being hardworking, follow the principles of God and all that. All these teachings have been given, even in the course of this convention. However, everything has the God factor in it, and that's the empowerment we have received. So as we go forth, as we all go forth, being hardworking, doing all that we should do, we should ensure that we keep the faith, should keep believing that what God has said is able to do it.
We are supposed to be engaged in evangelism, right? Bringing people to, so as many people that we are able to bring onto Christ, right, the glory of God will shine, right? So what I'm trying to say more or less to all of us is that it is not the work of our Lord Bishop, right, alone. We must share in that burden, in that vision. We all are supposed to be vision sharers, right? And the only way we can really do it is to do what exactly we have been told to do. Go ye into the world, right, and bring people unto Christ.
And now to Oyo State, where the National Association of Polytechnic Students has maintained that the time was ripe for members of the National Assembly to rise in defense of the national economic interest by enacting a bill to protect Nigerians' domestic refineries and industries, who, according to them, are drivers of the nation. Sayomide gave this advice in Ibadan during a media party, where he also charged the lawmakers to champion a bill for the protection and legislative backing for local industries in defense of Nigerians' economic future. The student called on senators and members of House of Representatives and other stakeholders to rise up and ensure survival of Dangote refinery. The NAP Senate President said the appeal became necessary, and having observed alleged deliberate acts of economic sabotage from some groups whose actions threaten the progress and sustainability of Nigerians' local industrial initiatives. And according to him, time has come for the National Assembly to rise in defense of the national economic interest and protect Nigerians' domestic refineries in line with the renewed hope agenda of President.
Interest and protect our domestic refineries in line with the renewed hope agenda of President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR. It's on record that Alhaji Aliko refinery project sponsored the training of over 3,000 Nigerians in India for a full year to acquire assets. If we allow such investment to be sabotaged or frustrated, we risk discouraging indigenous industrialists and undermining Nigerians' march towards self-sufficiency. The Dangote refinery represents an hope for national pride. We therefore call on the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria under Senator Godwin Akpabio and the House of Representatives under Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin. And we also call on distinguished Senator representing Lagos East.
Oluyede, a renowned medical expert, has emerged as the winner after the Democratic primary election in Ekiti. The PDP primary election, which drew thousands of party supporters to the election venue in Ekiti, saw 535 delegates from 177 wards cast their votes. Senator Ibrahim Dankwambo, the chairman of the primary election committee, declared Oluyede the winner with 279 votes, defeating Funsho Oyeni, who pulled 239 votes, and Fumilayo Ogun, who scored 17 votes. Oluyede described the outcome as a collective triumph for PDP primary, as a significant step towards reclaiming the state from the APC.
Ayeni Funsho 239 votes. Ogun Fumilayo Teresa 17 votes. So from the number of votes scored, the winner of today's governorship primaries 9 votes.
This victory belongs to all of us together. And together, we must now unite as one family to deliver the real victory, the victory governorship election.
Is not perfect. And when a process is not perfect, we try to, definitely this is not the end of the process.
We will talk to ourselves, we will reconcile the reconciliables, and we will forge ahead to.
And in a related development, the primary election of the African Democratic Congress, ADC in Ekiti State, has been marred by violence as suspected hoodlums invaded the coalition center, disrupting the earlier peaceful process in selecting the party's candidate at the next governorship poll in the state. The incidents occurred at a popular hotel in Ado-Ekiti, where election results from the 16 local government aided. The attackers reportedly stormed the venue, demanding the cancellation of results from some local government areas in the state. The invasion threw the entire area into chaos and forcing electoral officials and party agents to scamper for safety in fear of their lives. Some governorship aspirants who spoke to journalists expressed their dissatisfaction with the conduct of the exercise, alleging irregularities across several local government areas, and they, however, called of the ADC to intervene and ensure justice is done.
Included, but there were irregularities, so no limited time. Monday is the last day to submit, so the party will do the needful. These people going to town to announce they want to cause confusion. They know exactly what they are doing. So we want to tell the public to disregard that result.
On risk, no candidate has emerged from the process. That is the truth.
Violence in Ikewe. We are told that some thugs invaded the town and
So where that statement is coming from, I doubt the authenticity of it. I'm still here, and the party chairman is still here. So who released such statements?
You too much.
Na money point.
Money point, thank you.
Customer, na transfer, abi? Confirm.
Bro, na transfer.
Na money point, oga. Oh, na confirm.
Progress na peace of mind when you know say payment go land as Sure Banker. Progress na small way.
This go make am. Mo go buy ball.
Victor, even you they use money point?
Of course now, they use money point.
Confirm.
Money Point, made for your progress.
President Bola Tinubu has restated his administration's commitment to revitalize the Nigerian's economy through industrial expansion, investment-friendly reforms, and a stronger Region 5 International Trade Fair, which runs from November the 7th to 16th at Tafawa Balewa Square in Lagos. Tinubu described the fair as more than a commercial guide, capable of shaping the nation's economic future. Represented by the Minister of State for Industry, Trade and Investment, Senator John Eno. The President noted this year's fair comes at a crucial period of the global economy as country realigns supply chains and investment flows. He assured that under the Renewed Hope agenda, Nigeria is taking bold steps to convert economic potential into productivity. Tinubu also reaffirmed Nigeria's commitment to playing a leading role in the African Continental Free Trade Area, citing the immense potential of a unified African market of 1.4 billion people.
To our local and international investors,
we are restructuring to ensure stable policies instead of sudden reversals. Contracts that are honored, not revisited. Transferring incentives for manufacturers, for exporters, and for SMEs. Digitized ports, one-stop shop for business permits, smarter taxation, and faster dispute resolution. Nigeria is not just a market of over 200 million people. We're a nation of ideas, of youthful brilliance, and of limitless potential waiting to be scaled up. Let this not only be a fair of products, but a fair of possibilities. Not only a trade exhibition, but a platform for partnerships.
This trade fair is the most credible trading platform on the continent, where it meets producers. Please give them a round of applause. Where it meets distributors, and where vision meets validation. Each year, new partnerships are born, partnerships that lead to new factories, export deals, and job opportunities. This is the power of connection. This is the value of Lagos. And to our exhibitors and visitors, Lagos is open. Engage, connect, explore, and build.
Your contribution showcased the best of Nigerian entrepreneurship and ingenuity, as well as the diversity and the richness of our global economic partnership that is displayed in the hall we're in this hall, and you will get to see their stand when you go around the fairground. Been enduring and reliable partnership for many years. I therefore encourage the Nigerian government, together with us from Japan, to take bold initiatives to address the various challenges that Japanese businesses currently face, and to continue improving the business environment in this country for us all.
And the group of insurance experts have condemned the federal government for signing a new Insurance Act into law. This assertion was made during an Insurance Industry Award night organized by Almond Finance Production Limited in Lagos. The stakeholders enumerated the advantages of the newly signed Insurance Act, which include expansion of business opportunities, widened insurance. In another development, the organizer of the award explained the motive behind the award, which is to reward the innovators and game changers within the industry.
To reward innovators and change makers within the Nigerian insurance industry. Oftentimes, it's only the bad news you hear about the sector, but it's a difficult space. They are doing their best, but because of the bad image and mistrust that they've built over the years, it's been very tough. So we decided that once in a year, let's bring them together, bring the insuring public together, bring other stakeholders within. I would like to say we put in more work to make sure that everything goes well. And by the special grace of God, next year, of course, is also going to be better than this.
It's one of those areas that the awards take into consideration. If a company is doing very well in terms of premium income, then that stands against them, because the whole purpose of insurance is to pay claims, and the business of insurance to make sure that when people suffer a claim, when they have a loss, they're put back in the same position that they were in before. I believe that it's working, because when we looked at the industry figures, there were one or two companies that as of last year had so many unpaid claims, outstanding claims, and we saw that they had done better this year. So I believe it's working. It's one of those purposes for the award, to reward excellence, as I said, but also to encourage other insurance companies to do better and to create awareness also on insurance. One of the agenda of NICOM is that what they want the insurance companies to do is always find an opportunity to pay claims. You know, in the past it was you would go do everything to, or rather you would find ways not to pay claim if there are reasons not to. But now it's moving, they're changing the narrative where you now have to find reasons to pay claims. The NERA Act also solves for that. At Cassava, our value proposition is being able to pay claims within 24 hours. And that is something that we hold on to dearly and our customers can attest to. So insurance, the whole idea of insurance is being able to settle claims and make customers happy, which is what we at Cassava Microinsurance try to do.
It's a welcome idea because we need to kind of protect, our properties and lives, against uncertainty, and that is the more reason why insurance is a necessity. It's not something you buy when you think you feel. No, it's a need. You have to consider it when you are preparing for your budget for the year.
We'll now take a short break. When we'll come back, we'll take some stories in sport. Welcome back. In the foreign scene, a Sudanese medical organization has accused the Parliamentary Rapid Support Forces of engaging in a desperate attempt to conceal evidence of mass killings in Darfur by burning bodies or burying them in mass graves. The Sudanese Doctors Network said the parliamentaries are collecting hundreds of bodies from the streets of El Fasher in Sudanese West Darfur region. And after the bloody takeovers of the city on October 26th, saying the group's crimes could not be raised through concealment or burning. The International Organization for Migration, IOM, estimates 82,000 of El Fasher population of 260,000 fled, and after the RSF seized the last Sudanese military stronghold in the region. Amid reports of mass killings, rape and torture, many residents are believed to still be trapped. Reports say that many people fleeing El Fasher for Al-Dabar in the north died on the road because they had no food or water, or because they sustained injuries as a result of gunfire. Morgan said that escapees told Al Jazeera that they learned of the deaths of relatives from social media videos of their killings posted by the RSF fighters, and several videos depicting extreme acts of violence have emerged in the public domain since the group overran the city. We now take a short break. When we'll come back, we will now take a short break and take stories from the sport scene. And welcome back. In the sports scene, Nigerian's camp has opened for the 2026 World Cup playoff against Gabon, with 10 players already in camp as of early Monday ahead of the current tie. The coach Eric Chelle invited 24 players for the match, and weeks after Nigeria made the playoff,